So if you guys are anything like me, you love driving your manual transmission. Now that you actually know how to drive it, you want to be able to do things better. You want to be quicker, you want to shift quicker, and you just want to drive it better. So today, you and I are going to hop in my Subaru STI, and I am going to teach you a few quick tips so that you can shift quicker. Before I get started on this, I want to let you guys know I am by no means teaching you guys how to power shift or flat foot shift. Some of you out there are probably wondering what in the world is flat foot shifting or power shifting. I will tell you in the most real way possible. It is the worst and most harmful way to shift your car. And you know, honestly, and I know this might be offensive to some people and it can be applied in different situations, but on the street, if you can't shift quickly without lifting your foot off the gas, then you shouldn't be doing it at all. But really quickly, to give you a brief overview, what power shifting or flat foot shifting is basically between gears, you don't let your foot off of the gas. And that allows you to basically cut time in your shifting, which is completely useless because it really doesn't cut any time at all, because it's basically dependent on how fast you can switch gears and how quickly you can let out the clutch. It's entirely dependent on you releasing and engaging the clutch. That's exactly what quick shifting is, and I am not teaching you guys on how to do that. So yeah, and also disclaimer, shifting quickly and banging gears, as a lot of people like to say, can be harmful to your transmission. So I want to let you guys know that. I want you guys to be careful, and if you guys want to practice it, you're more than welcome to. I very much encourage it, but shifting really fast is not the best thing for your transmission. Thankfully, my car is designed to handle it pretty well. The STI transmissions are pretty bulletproof, but I cannot say the same thing for all cars. So I just wanted to tell you guys that before I started going and explaining on how to do some of these methods. Basically, you want to shift fast. Shifting fast usually wins the races. I see a lot of people out there shifting like a granny, and that normally makes them lose the race, and that usually kind of sucks because whenever you're comparing two cars, you know, highway rolling or whatever, it's really difficult to compare two cars if one of the drivers cannot shift to save his life. So I'm going to hop on the highway and I'm going to show you guys what quick shifting is all about. Let's go ahead and do this. Tell you guys right now, I lifted my foot off of the gas between every single gear. I pushed the clutch all the way in every single time I switched gears. A lot of people think that you need to do it, excuse my language, but a lot of people think you need to do it half-ass both ways. No, you need to do it full-ass all the way. A lot of people think you only need to push the clutch in so much. If that's what you're thinking about, then you're going to be putting way too much thought or way too much pressure into your shifting. You need to forget about all of that and just start to think about the ways I'm about to show you. So, if you guys have already watched my other how-to manual videos, you have already seen some of these things, or you've already seen me say, or you've heard me say some of these things. If you haven't, I do highly recommend it because I do have how to drive manual, and I also have a how to downshift. And in the downshifting video, I did cover a few of these things. But the main thing, if you take anything away from today, I want you to know when you're shifting, no matter what, if you are doing a third gear pull, you're going to fourth, fifth, sixth, or you're starting from a dig, you need to be prepared to go into the next gear before you're actually in the next gear. That being said, if I am in first gear, I need to already be ready to be in second gear before I'm even pushing myself to go into second gear. The best way I can explain that is by this. Okay, so I am in fifth gear right now. I'm on the highway, so I can't downshift too much. But if I'm in fifth gear, what I'm gonna do, and the best and the most helpful way for me, is if I'm pulling towards sixth, or even if I'm downshifting, if I'm pulling towards fourth before I even disengage the clutch, that will allow me to automatically get the upper hand whenever I do push the clutch in. It'll automatically let me at least go into neutral before I'm even thinking about it. So if I'm wanting to go to fourth, I'm already pulling. I was already pulling. It was as simple as that. Since I wasn't pulling, so I know this is kind of confusing for some of you, and I think I confused a couple of you whenever I said this before, but I'm going to push into third gear right now. That downshift was super easy because I was already pushing up, but keep in mind, if you do push too hard, you will make your car go out of gear even whenever when your foot is on the throttle. So make sure you're not pushing too hard. Give it a decent amount of force, and as soon as you push the clutch in, it'll pop out of gear. And since you're already bringing force towards that next gear, you will automatically go into that next gear. So that is the easiest way, and for me, that is the absolutely most beneficial thing when it comes to shifting. Another thing to keep in mind is everything that you do whenever you're shifting is one motion. You're not, I know you have to think about it really simply at first, but whenever you're shifting, you're not pushing the clutch in and then moving gears and then releasing the clutch and then giving it gas. The two things you need to focus on, and the two things that need to be one motion, is you pushing the clutch in, placing your gear shift into the next gear, and releasing the clutch all at the same time, essentially. Not at the same time, but in one motion, if that makes sense. For example, I'll go ahead and try and get as detailed as I possibly can. So I'm going to go to third gear, and I'm going to shift into fourth, okay? Before I even thought about releasing my clutch, my gear shift was already in fourth gear. So again, going back to the first topic, because I was pulling forward, whenever I did push in the clutch and then release it back out, it was already in the gear. Like, I didn't even have to think about it. It just happened. Same thing if I'm going into fifth. So I'm pushing it right now. I'm not pushing it very hard, but boom, simple as that. So now that I've taught you to pull or push to whatever gear you're going to, and also to be prepared for the next gear, I want you guys to think of it this way. Not only is everything supposed to be one motion, but I want you guys to practice disengaging and re-engaging your clutch as quickly as possible. The faster you can do that, the faster you can shift. End of story. Again, as you watched earlier, whenever I was accelerating on the highway, there was not much time between my gears. I didn't lose, in theory, I didn't lose much boost just because I was basically in the gas almost the whole time. I just had to let go, switch gears, and boom, I was there again. But the reason why I did that is, one, I was ready for the next gear before I was even moving to the next gear. Two, I was already pulling or pushing towards the gear that I was supposed to be in. I also, at the same time, did all of that in one motion. And at the same time as well, I also really, really quickly disengaged and re-engaged the clutch. So hopefully today I was able to simplify those in steps. And I know that it's really confusing, and I know that it's hard. Wow, my voice just cracked. Dude, my voice just went higher than freaking Mount Everest. That was ridiculous. I love being 14 years old. Anyways, it's really confusing, and I will give it to you guys. Doing more advanced techniques in a manual is not the easiest thing in the world. It's also very complicated. There are many things that you have to consider, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong. All I can tell you guys is apply these concepts that I told you today, but don't just take my word for it. I want you guys to go out there and also try it. But if you think you can't do it, or you think you need more practice, I absolutely cannot stress enough, you need to be good at driving a manual before you kind of start to try and do this. If this doesn't come naturally for you and you really have to think about it, you need to be so good at driving manual, you should be able to do it in your sleep. Like I've said in my earlier videos, I raced dirt bikes for a long time. I raced a lot of things growing up, but all of these concepts were very easily understood for me. So I didn't really have to think about all this stuff. And again, I'm going to say this a million times, I need you guys, before you try to do all this stuff, you guys have to be good at driving a manual. Once you do that, practice, you will eventually get it, but apply those concepts, you will get it. And I promise you, it's not going to be very smooth. It is not going to be a very smooth shift, especially when you first start trying, because odds are you're going to release the clutch too fast, or you're not going to give it enough gas, or yada, 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 it's going to be very bumpy. You'll probably bonk your forehead on the steering wheel. I'm not even kidding. Actually, I probably am. I don't ever see that happening. If that does happen, I would love you to tell me about it, because that's pretty funny, actually. That would make for a great story. So, like I always say, in any of my videos, and especially in my descriptive how-to videos, if there's anything that you think that I miss, or if there's anything that you have a problem with, I'm always open. Like, I have a very open mind whenever it comes to this kind of thing, because honestly, I'm not telling you the professional way how to do this. I am telling you the way that is benefit me the most as a person, as a driver. I'm telling you the ways that I apply, but if there's, if you have a problem with that, or if it confuses you, please ask me. I love answering people's questions. Like, it does not bother me whatsoever if you have a question. Driving a manual can be very confusing, and that is why the amount of people that can drive them are, like I've said before, few and far between, especially in America. Now, I know you guys over there in Europe are like, the kings of manual, oh, we have to take our driver's test. We don't have an option to do it in automatic. Give us a break. Not all of us can do it. But for those of us who can, it's a very rare skill, and it's very cool to be able to do that. So apply these concepts the best that you can. If you have any more questions or you have any concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions for you. But until then, just keep practicing. And if practicing doesn't work for you, I'm always here, and I always check my comment section. So I really appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any more recommendations on any how-to videos or manual advanced techniques in the future, I'd be more than happy to listen to what you have to say. I'm always open to suggestions. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because one, I'm going to be coming out with more stuff than this. Two, I make other videos aside from this about race car things, and who doesn't like race car things? If you're watching this and you don't like race car things, then you should probably close your browser and jump out your window. Not really, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. But in all seriousness, hit that subscribe button, because it will just make you happy as a person, and it will make you so awesome. You'll be the most awesome person ever by hitting it, and you'll have lots of cool little Subaru videos to watch all the time, and you'll be occupied. I've been curing boredom since 2012, so yeah. Anyways, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.